Growing up, did you ever take one of those epic cross-country family road trips? Or maybe you've done it with your own kids. I have a client who did that this summer. It was him and his wife and three kids coast to coast in an RV for a month. It's like, whoa, dude, you are brave. They had an incredible time. Very cool to be able to take that much time off as well. Growing up, we did summer vacations and they were almost all driving. We really didn't fly much of anywhere and most of them were in a station wagon. How about that? It kind of tells you the time frame. We did a trip multiple summers in a row from Texas to Colorado, and it's like, hey, it's only 14 hours. And this was before there were devices to keep us entertained and things like that. So we had to make our own fun. And well, 14 hours, maybe that sounds long. We were kind of used to that because driving to see grandparents a couple times a year was a 12-hour road trip each way. So it wasn't like 12 hours both ways, but 12 hours one way. My wife and I and our kids have been all over the US together and a fair amount of international travel as well. And they are great travelers. We started when they were pretty young, but there always comes a point when somebody says, are we there yet? And it's cute maybe the first time, but by the 100th time, it's like, I'll trade my spirits higher just to make it stop. And yeah, I'm sure maybe you felt that way too. I remember 22 hours into a 31-hour trip. And it's like, I just want to be home, exhausted, uncomfortable, grumpy. Now, are we there yet? A long sales cycle can be that same kind of feeling. It's like, are we there yet? Have they bought yet? Have they signed? I mean, in the business world, I mean, this happens all the time. Sales cycles get strung out for weeks, months, quarters, and we want to get to the destination, close the deal, and we want to get there fast. Prospects can really get to be in that same point. They're exhausted, negotiations are uncomfortable, and sales managers, they get grumpy when deals get stuck in the weeds and just don't move forward. You ever heard of a solution called Gong.io? And those guys are like the Waze app for sales. They're optimizing every single turn, avoiding speed bumps. They use AI to analyze sales calls, emails, offering real-time coaching to get deals closed faster than you can say, I gotta pee. Yeah, it's like finding a shortcut that shaves hours off a drive or like flying instead of driving. And so optimization is really important. And I think optimization really is the ticket. But most companies get optimization backwards. What I mean by that is they do optimize their sales process, but they do it for themselves, not for the buyer. And yeah, if that's you and you're in that boat, it's not your fault. I've fallen into that exact same trap. And we have a process, we have things we need to do. We have certain things that we have to get done to move deals to the next stage. And salespeople are thinking about that. I've got to check the boxes. And I get it. But what if we turn that around? And here's how I've come to think about that. First is really knowing your buyer. Think of it like putting the right playlist together for your road trip. You know what people are going to like on the trip with you. Tailor your process to your audience and they'll engage a lot quicker. What do they need to believe? What do they need to think, feel, experience, and share to feel really, really good about choosing your solution? The sales process, first and foremost, is about them. It's not about you. And that's a really tough thing to think about because we really look at things from our perspective very, very often. The second is to streamline. There's actually a chapter in my book that's about that. It is about engineer for speed and agility. So we want to streamline that process. Every prospect is at a different stage of the journey. And you don't have to recreate the entire roadmap for each one. And often, they're like 70% or further down the road before they even reach out. So use tools like Gong and workflows to make sure that you're not missing chances to accelerate that sales process. Build in shortcuts. Not every buyer needs to go through every step and jump through every hoop, so don't make it too difficult for them. The other thing to remember is they don't know your sales process. And to be really honest, most of them don't know their buying process, especially when you think about enterprise. They don't do this all the time. They don't know what they need. They don't know what they don't know. They don't do this all the time and they don't want to be taken advantage of. They don't want some salesperson pulling the wool over their eyes. One of the reasons that they're 70% down the road before they ever reach out. So if they don't understand their buying process, help them. Teach them how to buy. Show them what's important, why it matters. And this doesn't have to be in person. Don't wait for them to reach out to do this. Do it with content, different content at different funnel stages. If you wait for them to reach out, then it's too late. Got to do that early, and content is a really, really good way to do that. Think about what it is that they need to know. What do they need to believe? What do they need to, and go back to the first point. What do they really need to know? What do they need to feel really good about choosing you? And finally, we want to keep them engaged. So imagine you've got like in-car games. You've got an iPad, to keep the kids occupied now. You've got a deck of cards. You have a coloring book. All the different things that we used to do. Endless snacks. How about that? But basically, whatever it is, make sure that with your prospects, you are keeping the experience fun and informative. Webinars, interactive demos. I mean, heck, even memes can keep the momentum going. Especially if things are running a little bit slow. We do that. But add value in every interaction. Don't ever say the words following up, checking in, circling back. No, add value with every single interaction. And we have a process that we walk our SaaS clients through where we build that into their sales process. Really, really important to do that. So it's not, just a lame game of chase, but that you're adding value with every step. You're moving the interaction forward with every single step. So you ready to speed up that sales cycle and transform your prospects into customers? All while avoiding the dreaded, are we there yet? So let's gas up, add a little SaaS fuel today, and hit the sales highway.